Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. Something a little different today. This is, as you can see here in the nice Supreme Scoreboard mod, this is a modded game, and the mod is an alpha version of the T3 rebalance, and also there's an overcharge mod as well. So this is a preview of an upcoming balance patch. Now, this isn't the final version of the mod, but it's pretty representative of what we're going for. The game is between Kaiser, going UEF in the pink, and Oxideion in the red as Aeon. So what are we doing with this balance mod, or this preview of the upcoming balance patch? Well, T3 land is planned to be nerfed. And also, with it, Overcharge will get something of a nerf. Oh, also the map via Protectorate, I'm sure you probably all know. It's been in many casts on mine and others' channels. Kaiser's opening first land, and Oxide has... Oh, what's going on with his orders? I can't really see. Anyway, this is a bit of a showcase game to display the changes and see what these players make of the balance, what they decide to do. Petric will be making a video about the various changes, because he's worked extensively on this balance patch, and he's going to make a video detailing everything, talking about the changes that were decided upon. Kaiser going third air here, and Oxide doing the same. Quite common on this map, so you can get more engineers out of these factories, and because you don't move out of your base very far, bombers can be countered by anti-airs slightly easier than on other maps. You can see they just use the reclaim around instead of expanding immediately. So the aim of the mod is obviously to just make the T2 phase, of the balance patch, is to make the T2 phase more prominent. Many maps, including this one, and many 10x10 maps have a very short T2 window, if T2 is made at all. Over the years, T3 has been abused more and more. The T3 rush was really shown to be too good first. I mean, by the good old Harb, which makes the A and T2 phase obsolete on many maps, simply because the Harbinger is so good. Not really because the A and T2 is that weak. I mean, it's not the best T2 phase, but it's not far behind, and yet it is sort of an endangered species. So the aim is really to just make the T2 phase more relevant, make T2 units more relevant. There's a lot of possibility at T2 with unit choice and composition and matchups, and things which are basically unexplored because T3 appears so quickly, and that's really the aim, is to just showcase that phase. T3 essentially just is too effective versus T2 and makes it a bit obsolete. Now let's see what the players do with this new balance. Keyser, nice balance here. Needs to not stop making B-gens though. He might actually screw himself. Okay, here we go, more B-gens coming up. Oxide finishing his expansion, so infinite reclaim on this map for, well, infinite at least. It lasts till about 15 minutes in the game probably at the top level before it's all gone. And there's, I'm not sure how much reclaim, but it's certainly over 60, 70, 80,000. This is a really nice attack, but Keyser has no tanks here. 5 Aurora accompanied by their trusty scout. Destroy the expansion. And oh, unfortunately, oh, good reaction there. He lost his scout though. That's actually makes these Aurora pretty terrible now that they don't have a scout, so not a bad kill for the PD to get. Keyser looks to have more inties. I wonder if he's aiming to make use of air versus this Aeon. And the Aurora get wrecked. You can see their range is much bigger than their vision, so without a scout they are very vulnerable. Will we see T2? Oh, we have the nice integration of Notify telling me all the things I need to pay attention to. Very useful. Oxide going T2 before Keyser. Keyser's pretty slow to T2 here, gotta say. We're almost at 8 minutes. And we don't have T2 started, especially against an Aeon who has a nice advantage with the Aurora. These Aurora have no scout, he's deserted them. And so they will die. The mechs are built, but there's no PD and no factory, so this position gets run over. No one expanding to here yet. It's good to send a transport here, drop and make your base. Also dropping here is good and making your base here, reclaiming the trees, and it will take your opponent a bit longer to spot, or they may not spot a couple of factories here, which will allow you to ultimately claim the entire expansion and grab all the reclaim. There's not an insignificant amount along here. T2 is done. T2 PGen is building, needs to put his build power on it. A lot less power reclaim for Oxide. He hasn't made use of these trees. It's good to make use of these trees at exactly this moment when you're trying to get your T2 PGen up. It's actually the perfect time. And also these trees are good. So yeah, I would be looking to grab the trees at the same time as the first T2 PGen is probably ideal. See, Keyser's already taken his. A lot of T1 for Oxide and not so much for... We have 100 T1 tanks. Very few, so Oxide is not making use of this at all. It can be difficult on this map to do that, but because of the Aurora speed, but still he could definitely be poking, prodding much more. He doesn't have radar coverage. He is trying to do something over here, but there's a lot of Aurora back just outside his base. Oh, that's an annoying PD Well, unfortunately it's sort of badly placed because terrain is not helping it. But it's a nice idea to try and steal this reclaim and kill engineers that are trying to reclaim from Oxide. The strikers get into range, but there's far too many Aurora there, and he can kill this expansion. This is very vulnerable. I mean, he has 3 T2 mexes here, and he has 0 tanks. He just has NGs to build PDs, which is not the weakest defense, but yeah, Oxide doesn't know what's going on here, and doesn't have any arties with him, so PD will stop those Aurora dead in its tracks. First Obsidian is out from this factory here, but we have a big mass stall. Really needs to move the NGs around, get some more of this reclaim, which he hasn't grabbed yet. You can see most of the mass is gone already. Geezer's moving to T2 on his commander. He has moved to T2. He has 7 T2 support factories. Oh, it's not idle. Never mind. And we have the HQ here as well. He's going to T3 now. Quite quickly. But the unit he's making is not the pillar. He's making the mongoose. Obviously, a great unit versus Aurora. The nades do huge damage, as does the Gatling gun. Well, huge damage to Auroras with their very squishy HP. And they're now getting run down. Also, mongoose have nice speed as well, so they get across the map quickly. Aurora's getting into range. The Fervors will do massive damage if they land. And we have no kiting from Geezer. It's tough to kite on 2 sides of the map though. T3 mechs already done for Oxide, while Geezer has no such luxury. Harbs are already pumping out of this factory, moving to the bottom side. Maybe they should be going left instead, because that's where the huge pressure is on. He has no units here at all. Just a few. Oh, he has 2 Obsidians. Trying to get a T2 PD up, which is pretty good. It doesn't actually one-shot the mongoose, but it has AoE, so it hits multiple at once. It goes down, and now the Obsidians should really never get into range of these mongoose. Damn. Gets one shot off, kills a mongoose, and goes down. There's so many in this position. This expansion should die. Over here we have Harbs and Obsidians pushing. And mongoose trying to defend. It's gonna be tough. They do have more range than the Harb, but they're gonna have to kite because they've such little health. Oh no. This Harb is just sprinting in versus 20 mongoose just annihilate that Harb. That's that's a painful loss, and it might cost him several mexes and maybe this factory as well. Over here the mongoose trying to defend as well, and successfully doing so. The Harp goes down, it just sprints into the middle of all these units and gets destroyed. Yeah, that's... Here you can see 2600 mass worth of mongoose. Over here, the mongoose getting this, just annihilating the Harbs with superior numbers. once they get in close, it's actually, well, if you stay on the range, on this range with harbs, then you can dodge almost all the damage of the mongoose. But if you run in solo against 20 mongoose right into the middle of them, they're not going to miss, and they're going to wipe you out. There's far more mass in mongoose than harb there for those fights. But now that there's 3 harbs out, he's going to try and push these guys back, force them to kite backwards, but Keyser with nice micro retreats and is doing a lot of damage. Again, the harbs just sprint into the middle of these units, and we actually have Titans now sent out by Keyser. Titans and mongoose. What's happening? What balance is this? And the harbs. The harbs dying in small numbers here constantly. Oxide Oxide is getting destroyed again. The micro is not sufficient. Keys are doing really well. Air gunships now being used against the mongoose. There is 0 flak I've seen from Keyser at all, so gunship's going to be extremely effective against these low HP mongoose. And again, surrounded. Oh, Keyser's micro fails him for a moment. He runs out of range with the Titans. But the mongoose finish off the harb nonetheless. Pressure's still staying up here, but the expansion has not died, and there's quite a lot of reclaim being left here that Oxide has grabbed. So many mongoose. It's amazing to watch. And again, one by one the harbs are getting annihilated, but now there's a lot of them here. If he groups them, he can push out and definitely kill this army. The air is doing great work on the bottom, and there's lots of reclaim being left all around to be grabbed. So Keyser, his micro has been much better than Oxide's, but he's still not quite getting into the lead. I think Oxide's macro has been better. You can see here, full T3 mechs in the base now. Oh, this factory has to be killed so you can get full adjacency. There's no excuse for having a T1 factory attached to a T3 mechs. Harb's now running into several T1 PDs. Oh no. Oh no. This is unfortunate. Keyser has a single T3 mechs, I think. Oh damn, just one T3 mech. So, and Oxide is also taking many mechs in the middle. But now we have the T3 units from Keyser coming out. Many Titans running down the harbs. Oh no. And on the bottom, so many Titans. And yet Oxide still has map control. I mean, there's so many fights that Keyser's winning, and yet Oxide has both expansions. Even if the mechs are only a T1, it's still a big advantage to have these 6, 10 mechs, 11 mechs extra on top of your opponent. Plus the already bigger eco with these T3 mechs. T3 PGen now going up. Keyser already has his, That's a nice advantage to have. Maybe we'll see T3 air soon. We have T3 mexes in the expansion and another T3 P-gen going up, so let's see. 3 T3 mexes, a fourth one on the way. Almost 4k mass in the bank. Needs to be spent, and we have the switch from Titans to Percivals. 36 Titans. Should definitely raid this top. There's one T1 PD and you can see everything. That's actually, is that a T2 mech now? Damn. Have to be killing this. You can't let your opponent have this stuff for free, and we do see a Titan moving to the top here, bottom I should say, to clear it up. Reclaim wise, oh, mass wise, we have a big advantage. We have 262 mass income for Oxide, to about 200 for, just under 200 for Keyser, and now the Harbs do not want to run in to range of these Titans. This is perhaps the worst possible scenario for these Harbs. You have to be kiting these low range Titans, and that's a big loss here for Oxide. He wasn't paying attention and he gets punished severely. So much mass here to be reclaimed, and Keyser has many engineers in the area. He's now pushing into the base, having killed the Harbs, but there's reinforcements coming all the time. I don't know if he has the numbers here. Perhaps this was not a good attack to make. All the Titans are dead now. Just a few Mongies, and they won't survive long. Let's see how much of the mass he can grab before he's forced away from the position. I think Oxide has to push immediately to stop Keyser grabbing all of this. It's very significant mass. A lot of T3 wrecks. Ooh, that's a big drop. And it's on radar for quite a while. Oh, there's a SAM here. And a SAM here. The drop has come off. Now let's see. Oh, there's 3 Percys about to come out, and we have more Percivals actually very nearby, so this should be caught. You can see Keyser microing quite heavily, trying to keep the Percys alive, and he's actually gonna completely clean this up. Definitely want to put a SAM here and here are good positions to stop those sneaky drops, and in front of the base too is good. Well cleaned up. Needs to now get these units back to the front. Oh, we have a huge air loss. He actually chased down the transports with all of his air and got all of it annihilated because of it. Titans again sprinting into range of the Harbs. Oxide's kiting failed him slightly again, and oh no, he's stopped moving, bringing in more reinforcements now. And the Titans are stopped nonetheless. And that's not really a good fight for Keyser. He's leaving a lot of mass outside of Oxide's base. It's going to be difficult to get any of that now. You can see there's a lot of Harbs in the area, and we have just a few Percys on the top. Titans are not gonna, they don't scale well versus Harbs. He's gonna have trouble on the top side if he doesn't switch more so to Percys. I love these Mongies just mixed in there, doing damage from range every time the Harbs try and push in. Oh, these harbs are reclaiming instead of shooting. But this is a very significant army now. He can do a lot of damage. More T3 gens. An Omni sensor is queued. Oxide with T3 in his commander, adding more T3 land build power. Definitely, again, want to not have a T1 factory beside your T3 mechs. Harbs sensing blood are pushing in now. The Percys lose once the Harbs get into range, but the Titans want to get into range, so what do you do? What do you do? Well, you get more Harbs than your opponent has, and this is a good formation to attack. Now with the Keyser leaving his units out of position, and they're getting mopped up in smaller numbers. It's huge amounts of mass left behind in this attack. We have restorers. How many flaks do we have? We have 6 flaks, but crucially no parashields, so the flaks are going to be sniped. And there goes the last one, and now this army... Oh no, there's one more. There goes the last one, and now this army is just completely vulnerable to the resties. So no need to even send the units. He can just wait, let the restorers do what they do, and save his army. I wouldn't actually attack at all here. Let's see the Percys doing a lot of damage out of range. And Keyser started a Fat Boy. The economy still favoring Keyser. The Fat Boy has begun. Another aspect of this T3 rebalance is T4 build times are increased, so you can see a T3 commander can build a Fat Boy in 7 minutes. That's about twice as long, so when you're making your experimentals, you will need more build power to build them. They're generally about have generally about twice as long of a build time as in the current balance. So you can't just rush your experimental with a couple T3 NGs or a single commander. Although 7 minutes with just a commander is still pretty quick. None of their stats are changed at all, other than build time. There's no cost change or range or anything like that. And, oh, this Harb's doing damage, but I don't know if this is worth it. Keyser, you can see here, he has 24,000 energy storage, which allows him to overcharge T3 units. Overcharge scales with damage. So overcharge in the current balance costs 4,000 and it does 12,000 damage. 4,000 energy. In this, it scales up, so it will cost more depending on the damage you do. So a T3 unit will cost more depending on how much HP they have. For example, overcharging something like a Percy will cost I think it's around 10 or 12,000 energy, so you'll have to build a couple more energy storages. The original, actually the original FAF patch, I believe it was the original FAF patch, is when you first needed to build energy storage to overcharge. So now, well, you still need to build an energy storage to overcharge, but you also, if you want to overcharge higher tech things, you need to build just a couple extra energy storages just to nerf the commander versus T3 units, because commander and also T2 units, the commander is just extremely powerful versus these higher tech units because of the very low cost of overcharge. T3 air for Keyser looks pretty good. He has no inties left though, and actually there's a lot of swift winds here which could make the difference. Massive push. The Percys are just immense, destroying this entire Harb army. However, the GC is complete, and this expansion is completely dead. Full T3 mechs, it's has no chance of surviving. And this, where is the GC going? If we look at the Harbs, most of them are here, and the GC is going that way as well, even though there's a gigantic army of Percivals with nothing to stop it on this side. 52 Percys, again, most of them are here, and surely he can just walk into this base. There's a few resties, but there's a lot of flak and T3 Mobile A here, so I don't see any reason why he can't just walk, and he has just given a beautiful move order to walk directly through this base. And Oxide still is sending the GC towards Keyser's base and not back to defend against this. The resties move in, but they're attempting to snipe flax, and there's a bizarre T1 bomber order given. And actually the anti-air has been killed. I think perhaps he sniped some with the Harbs there, target fired some AA down, but it doesn't matter. Keyser actually moves in with his ASF to kill the restorers. There's only 2 left now, but there's so many Percys. It's 28 Percys. He needs to keep moving, and this base is just dead. Surely the GC is building quickly, but not quickly enough. There's actually some idle engineers here that need to be used. This GC now moving in, working on quite a small T3 army. He's gonna mop that up easily. And the Percys keep going. All of this power is vulnerable. There's so many T2 P-gens. He needs to be careful not to kill his own units with the explosions though. Focus on the T3 P-gens that are out of range first. This one would be the one to kill. He'd kill a lot of build power, but this GC is finishing, and there it goes. Just in time, or maybe a bit late, and actually Keyser stops attacking the GC and aims for the HQs. The land HQ goes down, but look, there's still 2 T3 P-gens alive, so that really is the main thing. If you keep your P-gens alive in this kind of scenario, it lets you recover a lot faster. If you lose all your T3 P-gens, it can be painful. GC is going to wipe out this position with the help of Harbs. There's a lot here as well on the front line. All these T2 PDs have been focused and killed. The 3 T3 P-gens are gone now. Let's look at Kaiser Zico. Kaiser is rebuilding. He only has 1 T3 P-gen now. That's almost all of his power was there. Or at least, he has over half his power was in that position. Maybe a mistake. Maybe a mistake to build his power there. So much mass. So what he needs now is, well, I think T3 engineers out of all these factories. Oh no, they're actually idle completely, not even building harbs. Because, oh, he can only build T1 engines because he lost his HQ, of course. Silly me. The T3 Mobile A getting sniped by gunships. UAF T3 Mobile A is quite bad. Probably need to look at that. Although it's not really designed to be used versus gunships. What is the GC doing? He's not shooting his laser. And he just has his arms spread. A lot of Percy's about to come out of these factories. And the GC just got a vet level there. He's on 4 vets now. But I think the Percys that come out of here are going to finish him off. Well, we shall see. Fat Boy being built, but it's a long way from completion. And actually, these factories are getting killed, and the GC lives still. Harbs killing reinforcements, and the T3 mechs is going down here as well. This raiding party of Percys are aiming for some P-gens, I guess. Exactly that. I don't know how successful they're going to be. Oh, we have T2PDs up out of vision range. Oh, a lot of overkill on those shots. I think he will get a P-gen, but I don't know how many more he'll get. Oxide overcharging. And one P-gen goes down, and that's all. The GC is still alive. It got its 5th vet, in fact. Damn. Doing insane damage. But it will go down now to these Percivals. There it goes. And this oh no, there's another one already on its way, and it's just killed every mechs and is moving to the base, and I think it's unstoppable. 120k HP, it has no damage on it, and there's only 13 Percys. The Fat Boy lives, but it's built. When it gets built, it's already well in range, well inside its max range, so not much room to kite. The T3 P-gen is being targeted. That's going to kill a lot of stuff, including the energy storage that's going up. Geezer could try do some damage. He needs to run. Oh no, the Fat Boy stopped moving. And now it's turning. Oh no. The GC desperately wants to kill him. Oh my god, it got the kill. It killed the Fat Boy. That's actually brutal. And over here, just some harbs destroying if there was anything left. It's dead now. It's just infinite mass now in Geezer's base, but no build power and not much power either. Not much of anything left for him, whereas Oxide suffered far less. He didn't have a GC rampage through his base, just had that the first attack of, well, 30 or 40 Percys rampaging through his base, which did leave him with a bit more power than Kaiser had. Another Fat Boy coming up. Where is the GC? We had another one. Oh, it's idle in the base. We have another GC coming up. So much mass here still for Oxide, but he has kept He actually has so many 2-on mexes. He could probably just upgrade all of these actually. That would be a good way to spend the mass. There's no way Gazer's actually gonna get around to killing all them. Again, the expansion dies to a few harbs. There's no defenses in place, and yeah, Gazer looks to be on the way out. Resties have no counter right now. Only a few factories. No air whatsoever, no air factory. The HQ is dead. And I think air is the game winner for Oxide now. It should be just about over. This GC right here just did absurd damage and got some nice vet as well that kept it alive for a long time. The Fat Boy, another one, is complete. If this first Fat Boy had survived, I mean, it would have been pretty nice for him. He could have defended a lot better, but could have maybe defended an expansion, tried to rebuild faster, having that glorious weapon, but perhaps still wouldn't have made enough of a difference. Oxide is trying to suck mass. He needs to, yeah, he just needs more build power. He's now just focusing on restorers. I think they will be sufficient to end the game. Keyser has no air whatsoever. And Oxide even has an okay harb army as well. More GCs moving across the map. I feel like Keyser was behind for most of the game, but had much superior unit use, unit micro, but his economy was lacking compared to Oxide. I did enjoy watching those harbs die to various UEF units, which are currently memes, like the Mongoose and the Titan. Oh, this Fat Boy could, well, it should actually just die to these restorers. The only hope is to try and spam some flak out of it. It actually wouldn't be a bad shout to use this as a factory right now, but it's too late for that. And I think, wow, look at all that air that Oxide still has. Keyser lost all of his air while taking out the restorers, which were killing his Percies. And he calls GG as he sees the 2 GCs appear in his doorstep. He didn't actually say GG, but he did Control K, and that was a GG. Nicely done from both players. Keyser's micro is pretty sexy there on the T2 stage, and he caught a lot of harbs on range with the Mongoose, and inside of his range with the Titans. You can find the T3 balance patch mod in the vault if you want to take a look and check it out, and maybe playtest some games. It will go into beta very shortly. And Morax is also planning to do a tourney with it, a 4v4 tourney. We'll see how that works out. Should be interesting. And of course, feedback always welcome. I'm sure there will be a lot of people worried, but that's only natural. If you weren't worried about a big change, then the game would already be dead, because that would mean no one cares. So leave your feedback on the forums or wherever. Aeolus isn't the best place, but you know, forums good. So thanks for watching and tuning in. I'll see you next time.